Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, viewers. My name is Nurdiyanti Hidayah Sari and my NPM number is 2040601006 and I am from University of Borneo, Tarakan, and this is a final project for Psycholinguistics Course in semester 4. Now, I will give an explanation about learning strategies, but we will focus on strategies for second language production. First, let us discuss some sentences and the cause of the problems. First, error. Error caused by interference. For example, now Tom happy is. This is a sentence that written in English by a Japanese speaker. It is likely that this is a case of interference. In the process of constructing the sentence, perhaps because of haste, the Japanese order of constituents intruded on the process so as to cause the error. Second, error caused by second language strategy. For example, afterwards they ate the dinner. This is a sentence that written in English by a Japanese speaker. The student has to some extent learned the article rule and its application to types of nouns, but perhaps mistakenly thought that dinner, the dinner word here is a countable noun that requires the article. Another possibility is that because the student was unsure of the status of dinner, she employed what could be called an article insertion strategy. So, this error is the result of applying general knowledge of the second language to production of the second language. Third, error caused by first language strategy. For example, John Barry met Feather at yesterday. This is a sentence that written in Japanese by an English speaker. Supposing that the English-speaking person did not know the Japanese rule, then this could be an instance not of interference, but of the result of using the first language strategy. That is, applying first language knowledge to the second language. When second language knowledge is lacking, this strategy is very useful. So, what is strategies for sentence production and communication? According to Ford and Casper in 1983, also Casper and Kellerman in 1997, strategies that are used for the purpose of keeping the conversation going involve communication strategies. Communication strategies may have an effect since the more the learner speaks, the greater linguistic input the learner will receive. The greater the input, the more the opportunity for language learning. Communication strategies may also involve using words or phrases from the first language when they are unknown in the second language. We call it code switching or coining new words such as airball for balloon. Next, let's talk about strategies for becoming a better second language learner. The topic previously under discussion mainly concerned using strategies for improving and maintaining communication and conversations. Meanwhile, what strategies a person might develop so as to improve the learning of a second language to another topic. For example, according to Rubin in 1981, the strategies used by successful language learners include: first, verification, checking to see if their hypotheses about the language are correct. Second, inductive processing, creating hypotheses about the second language based on one second or first language knowledge. Third, deductive reasoning, using general logic in problem solving. Fourth, practice such as repetition, rehearsal, and imitation. And then fifth, memorization, including mnemonic strategies and repetition for the purpose of storage and retrieval. And then the last is monitoring, being alert to the making of errors and paying attention to how one's message is received by the listener. Okay, so while one could argue that these are strategies that any language learner naturally uses, research indicates that the implicit teaching of such strategies will improve the capacity of the learner. Next, let's talk about teaching reading in bilingual situation at home. The first question is, what should parents do to teach the reading of two languages? Here's the answer. First, the parents should be using the one person, one language OPOL approach. In this approach, each parent speaks one language only to the child. For example, the mother speaks Chinese and the father speaks English. The child learns both language as speech and simultaneously. As for teaching reading, it recommends that the teaching be done sequentially, with the second language following the first after a year or two. Suppose that the parents start teaching the child to read English after about a year, and so when English reading is established in the child, the teaching of Chinese would be started. The lead teacher should be the parent who speaks Chinese to the child. Next question, which language should be read first? Basically, it should be the language that is used in the community and in school. By learning to read the English, the language of the community, the child will be able to read the signs that are everywhere outside the home. This will reinforce the child's learning at home and motivate the child to read more. Second language will not be hard to teach to read after the first, because once the child can read the first language, he or she will have learned the basic principle of reading. These principles will make the learner of second language reading easier. Okay viewers, I think that's all from me. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.